Today, being the middle of September, I want to talk about the urban myth about goldenrod being bad for allergies. So I want to tell you a few things about it. We have a couple different kinds of goldenrod in Northeast Tennessee. It's an incredible plant. It is almost got its own world going on the top of each sprig. There's tons and tons of pollinators, little tiny things. Later on, when this gets in the sun, it's going to be loaded up with butterflies and bigger pollinators. So here's the deal. The pollen that goldenrod makes is sticky and it's heavy and they are pollinated by insects. The pollen is carried by insects. It's not airborne. So it's not the goldenrod that's making you sneeze. It's just that when you drive down the road and you look out in the field, what do you see? You see goldenrod, goldenrod, goldenrod. Oh, my eyes are itching me. It's got to be the goldenrod. It isn't. It's this guy. This guy over here is ragweed. This is common ragweed. It's real easy not to notice. And they bloom at the exact same time. But this guy, the common ragweed, they all throw their pollen the same way. So, if you look at this, these little tiny green balls are actually, on these stakes, they're actually the male flowers. So all of the ragweeds have male and female flowers on the same plant. And what happens is when these guys get loaded up and the pollen's ripe and ready to disperse, they just go poof and they drop it. And below them, very hard to see, on the same stalk are the tiny, tiny female flowers, which will catch and accept the male pollen. So the bad news is this stuff is airborne, and one plant produces over 1 billion pollen. So that's probably where your allergies are coming from. I guess if there's good news, and there is, this plant is an annual, meaning they will die at the end of the year. So next year's ragweed has to be from successful seeds from these guys, from this year's. Also, it has a very shallow root system, so if you want to, you can walk through your yard and yank these before they go to seed when you notice them coming up. They're pretty easy to identify. And the other thing about ragweed is this stuff is a great wildlife plant, because everything seems to have two sides, doesn't it? So these seed heads are loaded. They're like 47% protein, which is unbelievable for a seed. And they have about 38% fat. So they'll hold on to the plant late into the winter and they become a really good emergency food. Quail love them, mourning doves love them, a bunch of stuff love them. So it's got an incredible wildlife value. And I just wanted to take advantage of today and this time of year and kind of squash an urban myth. So thanks.